Welcome to the very first Ace game that I'm going to be casting today. This one is again going to be Barton versus Quentin. By popular demand, we're going to watch them again. This time, of course, Barton playing as allies and Quentin playing as Oster. So we are seeing a lot of Oster. And a lot of people say Oster sucks, but at the same time, everyone thinks Tiger Ace is overpowered, so maybe they cancel each other out. Who knows? I guess we're going to see. But Quentin has brought elite troops to the table. He's also brought close air support, which is much more popular, obviously, since they gave it out after the event. And, okay, he went mechanized assault. Damn, I was hoping to see one of those. But I guess he's more comfortable with mechanized assault. He has a better chance with it. Tiger Ace, the thing about that commander is, even though Tiger Ace is so strong, is it comes so late. The Stug E comes a lot earlier, so that is probably one of the biggest draws of the commander, if not
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
the absolute #1 reason you go mechanized assault, so he clearly plans on using that. Barton going with 3 combat engineer opening again. He really likes his combat engineers. We've seen him use flamethrowers heavily all through the tournament so far, so I guess that shouldn't come as a surprise. And then throwing conscripts on the field to follow up. Quentin has gone with 1 grenadier squad into an MG42, and he actually ran his initial pioneers all the way over here to wire this, I guess, and he's probably going to try and secure control of this building as well. Conscripts will head him off before he can try and take a cutoff or anything like that. Pios actually stop to engage while they're trying to cross the road. Deal a little damage, and then take control of the building, I suspect. Grenadiers moving up to engage from range, and the MG42 is taking the cutoff, possibly also the fuel. It will be engaged by 2 squads of combat engineers, however, so he's going to need to be a little bit careful. MG42 trying to get a little bit more bold and take control of the fuel, but combat engineers are moving around the north flank, and Quentin is actually cutting Barton off completely with these pioneers and grenadiers, but conscripts are making their way out of the base to force them away, and the MG42 getting flanked here is also going to be forced to retreat as these conscripts take control of the strategic point there and there. These pioneers will resecure that building, and Barton will have control of the entire north.
Fresh conscripts have arrived. Engineers have secured the sector.
More grenadiers being produced now. That'll be his 4th squad. The first flamethrower from Barton has also hit the field, making its way over here, giving giving Barton total building control.
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
And these squads are going to probably also force away those grenadiers with support from combat engineers in this building. There are more grenadiers available to help, however.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Trying to engage in green cover. The flamethrowers actually slowed their advance a little bit. Grenadiers may be able to focus them down before they can get in range to continue firing. If they hadn't stopped chasing, they probably could have done a little bit better in that engagement. They do get 1 burst off, and a crit kills one of those grenadiers. And these combat engineers will be forced to retreat as well. Grenadiers in their green cover position will maintain control of that fuel, at least for now, but it looks like all of Quentin's attempts to grab this fuel
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
were not successful.
We are taking losses. We are bleeding, comrade.
Grenadiers force those conscripts to retreat, and these 2 squads of grenadiers are moving up into yellow cover to fire on those conscripts. This flamethrower squad is moving up to fire on these conscripts. One of them bursts into flames.
HQ now includes a field hospital, but only for those who are seriously
Can't tell who's winning this. The health bars are overlapping. It looks like the Pioneers are getting a lot of lucky crits, though. Conscripts will be forced to retreat. They do make it away. Meanwhile, one of those Grand Squads had to retreat. The other one continues to engage. Their cover has been destroyed, though, by fire, I guess. And the conscripts are going to move into the building, and these two flamethrower squads are making their way towards the center.
enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
We have casualties!
Quentin focusing quite heavily on the south now. He seems to have it largely under control, but Barton's flamethrowers making their way down here are probably finally going to get this fuel back, just as Quentin is sending some forces to take this one. And some of Quentin's forces are making their way out of the base to make a slightly more sincere push for the north. These two flamethrowers are kind of getting caught in the road here. They're a little bit grouped up as well. Flamethrower, however, is going to disengage. Kind of a cat and mouse engagement between those two flamethrowers. Not wanting to overly commit either of them. Fearing the flame crits. That squad is going to retreat as it's fallen quite low. Doesn't really feel comfortable continuing to engage, even from green cover. And the machine gun. And these other two squads are going to grab some territory here in the north. So Quentin's territory is looking quite good now. He still hasn't taken this point. He probably should. It's kind of weird. In fact, last game, he went almost the entire game without capturing either of these strategic points.
Our opponents are seizing a sector. We have liberated. We are losing a
Flamethrower
sector.
gets a pretty nice spread of damage on that squad, inflicting 2 losses before retreating with no losses. And Quentin has just called in a mechanized assault group. Panzer Grenadiers in the half-track should be able to utilize those to pretty good effect against his opponent's flamethrowers and conscripts. And if Barton hasn't teched AT grenades yet, he could risk losing a full squad. I think he heard the mechanized assault group coming on the map, or saw some fences going down in the fog of war or something, because he immediately started researching anti-tank grenades. That's going to complete soon. He should be pretty safe from that in his base. It looks like it may be going straight for him, though. But it's going to pull back, not wanting to get too close to that flamethrower.
Supply lines have been cut.
We have been promoted for our bravery, brother. We are dying here.
Panzer Grenadiers in the half-track force the flamethrower away. Now it's going to have to kite these conscripts, which do have access to AT grenades. He's going to lose control of the south cutoff. Now he does have some Grenadiers making their way towards the south, and these two squads are going to try to take control of the center. Panzer Grenadiers moving to support. AT grenade on a flanking squad will damage the half-track's engine, but Pioneers are quite nearby for repairs. The machine gun barely manages to round the corner just in time. And Barton still hasn't chosen his commander. It's 4 command points in. Not sure what he's thinking. I think if he were going to go industry, he probably would have done that. But oh, there he goes. Counterattack. Okay, so he's chosen counterattack and immediately fielded some shock troops. So he felt that he needed shock troops, I guess, to help him deal with his opponent's Grenadiers. Possibly also team weapons later. We'll see if he can make good use of that, and then in the future he will obviously have access to the B4 and KV-1. B4 in this map can be built effectively in your base, and you can fire anywhere on the map. If he can land good shots on his opponent's infantry formations or even tanks with that, it could definitely be a decisive factor in this game. But I don't know, I guess we'll see exactly what he chooses to do. We've seen Barton do some pretty amazing things with counterattack tactics in the past.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Mine takes out a couple of grenadiers down there. This squad will have to retreat away from those flamethrowers. AT grenade on the engine of this half-track will prevent it from chasing, and there are now flamethrower pyros inside rather than panzer grenadiers. Continuing to get crits. One conscript goes down, the rest will retreat. And shock troops on the flank are taking control of this fuel. And Quentin is getting very close to being able to afford the Stug E. 200 manpower and 75 fuel. It's really very cheap. So as soon as he hits 6 command points, they'll be able to throw one on the field, maybe even 2. I'm not sure what his preference is.
We will now call in Model E assault guns, Commander. Panzer Grenadiers under fire!
Panzer Grenadiers engaging on the cutoff. Grenadiers managed to decap this cutoff as well, completely shutting Barton's resources down. And shock troops continue to just take territory rather than engage. I don't think they've done anything yet, in fact. It's kind of expensive for just a capping squad. Conscripts are engaging on the flank of that machine gun. Flamethrowers on the flank as well. And more conscripts. Grenadiers are engaging from range. We've also got these grenadiers moving to take the fuel here. Flamethrowers in the half-track are engaging these shock troops. They're falling dangerously low and they need to pull back to safety. The Stug E, however, is here firing on these clumped conscripts. Be careful. And he's only fielded 1. He may get a second one, but if he does, it's going to significantly delay his later tanks. His Tigers, I should say. Away from those conscripts, but they do get the AT grenade off. Grenadiers make it away by a hair, as well as the flamethrower squad. Very, very near misses on both of them. He's gonna have to spend a little while repairing both of these. I think he got some more lucky flame crits there too on that grenadier squad. This is now a Vet 3 flamethrower, so they will be really useful later on for their repairs. Although, supposedly they, well, not supposedly, factually, they still don't repair as quickly as Stern Pioneers of Vet 0.
The enemy is taking our territory.
But it's still nice. Recon coming in over Quentin's base. And he's utilizing, Quentin is utilizing the field first aid ability here to try and heal some of his squads up. Cost a little bit of munitions. I guess he would rather spend the 20 to heal one squad than the 60 to just get himself a medical bunker. But he's got munitions. So I'm not sure why he wouldn't just get medics.
We are losing a sector.
And Barton is up to 8 command points, so he's probably going to field himself a B4 at some point. Well, maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But he is getting himself an Su-85 now, so he should be able to utilize that to deal with the Stug E and half-track. And if he can vet it up sufficiently now, hopefully it'll also serve to protect him against Tigers later on.
Forces are securing our territory. We have a first squad. We got Texas. Enemy commandos rising into range.
Massed flamethrowers engaging the
enemy has killed a
machine gun. Will kill it before even getting suppressed. Possibly also going to steal it here. He's got conscripts in the area. We do have a 2-man Pio squad in this half-track going somewhere. Quentin drops a light artillery barrage on something.
We have lost a squad.
On the machine gun so that it wouldn't get stolen. Ooh, Su-85 gets a nice shot on the mechanized assault group, killing one of the pioneers inside. Stug-E is going to engage the conscripts in the area, and he's probably going to try and recruit this machine gun if he can. Panzer Grenadiers making their way towards the north. Ooh, that was a pretty good hit. S-285 is in position to fire on the Stug-E. It wipes a squad. Cannot round the corner, though.
We have lost a panzer.
And the Su-85 is well on its way to Vet 1, which means Quentin is now at a bit of a disadvantage. But he did manage to take out one conscript squad with it before he lost it, so I guess that's something. I mean, manpower-wise, he's already ahead, but he just actually decided he couldn't afford to continue playing without a second one.
Light
So,
artillery barrage ready to launch. He's dead!
Grenadiers are retreating there, as well as these combat engineers, and it looks like victory points are still pretty even. And they continue to just change hands back and forth. Grenadiers taking the center, combat engineers taking the north, although they're in a bit of danger from this mechanized assault group. And Barton's simply going to retreat immediately. This Stug-E is going to engage conscripts there, and Panzer Grenadiers making their way to deal with the conscripts are just going to disengage. Doesn't feel comfortable with the concept of getting crushed, I guess. And the Stug-E is pulling all the way back. And Barton is continuing to just recon the base purely for informational purposes, I guess. He doesn't really have anything as far as indirect fire. No B4 to bombard from a distance. Although it will give the Su-85 vision without having to utilize its focus sight ability. But the recon run does end, and the plane flies off the map.
We have lost an MG team. We're under Soviet attack! Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Grenadiers close in on the Su-85 and do damage its engine. Lots of Grenadiers, in fact, in this area, making their way across the south. That Su-85 is probably feeling a little cornered right now. It is on a road, but they're Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks on their way to try to kill it, and there's not really anything nearby to save them. Meanwhile, the Stug-E and Flamethrower are driving straight into Quentin's base on all of his retreating squads. Oh no, there goes one Flamethrower, and there goes everything. That was extremely bad. Barton just lost all of his infantry and his Su-85, which got abandoned, all in one horrible, horrible series of engagements. He's activated for Mother Russia a while ago, apparently, but he doesn't manage to do it in time to save his tank, which gets destroyed by those Panzer Grenadiers, and they should be able to get away clean. And Barton will field himself a KV-1, but it's too late to save any of his infantry.
We are losing a sector.
Stug-E rotates down here to engage.
The enemy has dealt us a blow.
Flamethrower gets away with one man. Shock troops are falling very low. I'm not even sure they're going to survive their retreat. One of them remains. KV-1 moving in to engage the Stug, and there they go. KV-1 is actually going to disengage, apparently. This is probably his best, if not his only chance to try and kill that thing before a Tiger arrives, or before it's just too protected. I mean, if we're looking at this situation, Quentin has a massive lead. I really don't think Barton can win. But he does only have... well, okay, it doesn't matter. I guess the game just ended. There it goes. Quentin, Darth Vader, is victorious. Barton will be eliminated from the tournament in round 2. I wasn't expecting them to be up against each other so early, but I guess that's just the way it worked out. All right, GG.